It's literally the same. This is a McDonald's chocolate sundae, and this is, I think, the first fast food dessert I've ever eaten in my entire life. This is the one that I have the most memories of. And we are going to recreate this with 3 ingredients. We're only gonna need 1 ingredient for the fudge, but for the actual ice cream, there's essentially 2 ingredients and the vanilla, which is optional, but that will make it taste like the real one. So the sundae ice cream is really custardy, vanilla-y. We're gonna start with 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm doing 1 because mine is vanilla bean powder, which is extra powerful, but if you're using vanilla extract, just do 2. And then we're gonna need a whole can of condensed milk. So this makes quite a large amount. I would say enough for 4 vanilla sundaes, like the base. So that's why we're using a whole can. This is 14 ounces of condensed milk. I'm using the sundae spoon to scoop this out. And to this we're gonna add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Oh, it's quite a lot, I'm not gonna lie. It tastes good. That's all you need to know. That's around 2 cups. We're gonna whip the whole thing because ideally we'd put this on an ice cream maker, but we don't have one. We're gonna whip it instead to create the sundae texture. You want it to increase in size a little bit, but you actually don't want it to be too fluffy because the texture that we're looking for is kind of still watery, but also fluffy. Like, do you kind of see what I'm talking about? Almost like a milkshake. You want a milkshake consistency for this. If you have an ice cream machine, a Ninja Creamy, put it in the freezer and then in there. But I'm just gonna put it in the freezer and you'll see that it still works. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like once we get this out of the freezer. When you get this out of the freezer, you will get this. It looks exactly the same as the sundae base. I can't explain it, but it's that creamy, almost like no real consistency. Mine took around 12 hours to get here to what I consider to be the perfect sundae consistency. And I just want to show you, it's not really quite like ice cream. It's a little bit creamier than that. And as it sits here, the consistency will only get better. You don't need an ice cream machine. It's possible. Now, if you think that we're gonna be using this on top of the sundae, you're wrong. Because this stuff, it doesn't taste right with the ice cream. It tastes straight up chemical. Instead, we are going to microwave a Betty Crocker chocolate frosting. I know this sounds insane, but I promise you, when you try this, you know this is exactly the same as the McDonald's. What you want to do is just get your regular chocolate frosting and you're going to put this in the microwave. Sometimes 30 seconds is enough. It might be a minute. And this will become exactly the same as the McDonald's sauce. You can do your research. The ingredients are basically the same. It has that sticky, caramelly, buttery flavor. So we're going to put this in the microwave and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So once you've put this in the microwave, it took around 40 seconds. Look at the texture of this. Are you kidding me? That's the perfect fudge sauce for the McDonald's sundae. It's literally the same. Like, you will not be able to tell the difference. The more you mix it, the better it will look. I want to show you the difference. This is what most recipes will tell you is their sauce. But I find that once this hits the ice cream, it doesn't taste right. It just tastes too chemically. Now this one looks a lot better, but also it's almost like a homemade version of the other one. Do you see how that looks a lot more like the fudge sauce? Like, it doesn't have the artificial like stickiness to it. This is a lot more like what they actually use at McDonald's, in my opinion. So we're going to be using that instead of the Hershey's one. So I'm going to essentially build our own sundae. In the beginning, it might look a little bit solid, but you'll get there really quickly, you'll see. You can press it down to look more like it. Because obviously the McDonald's one comes out of a soft serve machine. We don't have a soft serve machine, but we can press it to make it look more legit. And it works, as you can see. This ice cream is so creamy that it will leave you actually thinking that this tastes better than the McDonald's one. I promise you. So you almost kind of can create the soft serve look, except literally just with your hands, because the ice cream is so creamy that it just kind of works. And trust me, once you add the chocolate sauce, this will look exactly the same as the sundae. So we're just gonna drizzle the hot frosting on top. And come on, that literally looks the same as the McDonald's one. And you will see the way it falls on the sides. And this just, in my opinion, is so much more, in terms of flavor, legit than using the Hershey's sauce. Are you kidding me? Would you look at this? I'm gonna put the lid on. And if I've shown you this, you would 100% think this is from McDonald's. I'm gonna show you the side by side. I'm gonna move quick because this is gonna melt. This is the one from McDonald's. This is the one that we made. Do you see how the chocolate is almost exactly the same shade of brown? They're very, very similar. This one's just extra frozen because this was inside my freezer. The color of the ice cream, the color of the chocolate, it's literally the same. When mine melts a little bit more, it will be exactly the same. So I can remove this, kind of show you. Not to flex, but mine looks a lot better. But one of these was made by McDonald's, the other one was made by us with 3 or 4 ingredients, including the Betty Crocker melted frosting. Maybe I am a genius. Is this symptoms of being a genius? Because if it is, let me go on WebMD. Consider myself sick. I did put this back in the freezer, so this is extra solid. Usually the McDonald's one is a lot creamier. Like, look at the consistency of this. This is the McDonald's one. Pretty good. The chocolate is brown and not black like the Hershey's one. That's what I'm telling you. The Hershey's is not correct. Now the one that I've made, I want you to see. Look how creamy this is still. Are you kidding me? It's the creamiest vanilla ice cream. It's exactly the same color. The chocolate is literally the same. Look at the stickiness of it. This is literally perfect. It's 100% the same. I have cracked the McDonald's hot fudge recipe. They look the same even when they melt. Look at this, that's the same ice cream. I'm losing my mind over this. Look at the colors. It could not be more similar. I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless. I'm running out of spoons, but you know, it is what it is. This is the McDonald's one. That is so good. That is delicious. Wow, the chocolate though, that is not Hershey's. I knew that for a fact. Now, the one that we made, I would say it feels more like a sundae than the other one. Like, do you see what I mean? Let's try it. Sorry. I'm going to jail. This is what McDonald's uses. I am going to jail. I am going to jail food videos coming up. I am literally going to be arrested. Guys, this recipe makes the most accurate anything we've ever done on this whole series. I've said that before. This time, it's the one to believe in. Please try this. Blow your family's minds when you try this recipe. Like, save this, download this video, do something to this video. I don't even care as long as you do something to it. Oh my god. I'm gonna change lives. The McDonald's CEO's life, but lives. It's gonna be on the streets. This is gonna ruin McDonald's. You do not understand. Try this. Try this. Try this. Try this. This is a McDonald's Oreo McFlurry. And we're about to recreate this using 3 ingredients. This will taste exactly the same. No difference. You've got my word. So we're gonna start by adding some vanilla ice cream. If you're using low quality vanilla ice cream, you might wanna add some extra vanilla flavoring. This is actually really good quality ice cream, so I'm just using 2 cups of vanilla ice cream. In order to make the same amount as a American McFlurry size, you need around 2 cups, which is actually quite a lot. It's around this much. So this is 2 cups of vanilla ice cream. You wanna use 1 tablespoon of milk per cup of vanilla ice cream. I find that in order to replicate the McDonald's flavor exactly, whole milk and half work the best. Anything thinner than that, it's not as good. So I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of whole milk. 1 tablespoon per cup of ice cream. And I know this seems like this is not gonna go anywhere, but this will go places, trust me. And this is it, this is basically what you need. The only thing we're gonna add to this is obviously the Oreo cookies. If you want to replicate the McDonald's one exactly, I find that they use 3 to 2 cookies for this amount of ice cream. However, it tastes best if you use 4. It's just my opinion. It depends whether you wanna be biblically accurate or not. Now for the cookies, I find that using 4 is what tastes the best and it's still accurate to the flavor of a McFlurry, just slightly improved. I also find that removing the cream makes it taste more like the McDonald's one. It's just my opinion. I've tried a few variations and this just seems to be what works for me. So we're gonna remove the cream from the Oreos. The cream kind of mixes with the texture of the ice cream and it makes it not taste as much like a McFlurry. You can just eat it as it is. You can form it into a bowl and stick it under your table. I don't know. Ideas. You can decide how many Oreo cookies to use. For me, this is the perfect amount for like that American sized McFlurry. So I'm gonna put the cookies into a Ziploc bag and we're just gonna crush them. I know removing the cream seems like a dumb idea, but do you see how this feels a lot more like what you actually get at the McDonald's when you ask for extra? The cream kind of ruins the texture. We're gonna move quickly because you don't want the ice cream to melt before you blend it, so you can use a blender. You can use your electric mixer. I've done it before. It works. An immersion blender. This works regardless of what equipment you've got. You just gotta blend this. I'm gonna put this in my smoothie maker. There's a name for this. Blender. Yeah. We're not actually adding the Oreos or anything yet because I want this to be the creamiest, smoothest texture first. I'm just gonna put this on any random setting and just blend this. So now that this is kind of blended, I'm gonna show you the texture of this. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but this is exactly the right texture of a McFlurry. Do you see? It's super creamy. It's exactly the same as a McFlurry. Like, you have to believe me. If you wanna do it quick, just add the Oreo now. But I find that in order to replicate this perfectly, you wanna almost create layers manually. I need you to see the texture of this. This is exactly the same texture as a McFlurry. Just look how insanely creamy this is. It's not like a milkshake, it's not like ice cream, it's literally, the only way to describe this is the texture of a McFlurry. I started filling up the cup, and what I do now is I kind of start to add layers of the Oreo, and this will make it almost create that layered look that McDonald's does with their specific machines. I promise you this just works. We're gonna add more ice cream on top. If you don't move quick, it does start to become a lot more solid, so you just gotta watch out. This makes exactly the same amount as the McDonald's one because you don't want to waste your time here. I'm gonna add some more Oreos. If you want this to be mixed like a real McFlurry, you can use a chopstick. Do you see the texture of this? Do you see how sticky, creamy it is? It is exactly the same texture of a McFlurry, just made in 30 seconds. This is my last layer of ice cream. And then obviously we saved the Oreo cookies for the topping. We're gonna put the lid on. And this is essentially a 1-minute McFlurry made with ingredients that you probably have in your house. Like, you literally need 3 ingredients. So we're gonna put the lid on. If I put a spoon on here next to a real Oreo McFlurry, you would not be able to tell the difference. The creaminess will be, I wanna say, the same as the McDonald's one, maybe even better. But we're gonna see the side by side. Here, we've got the McFlurry, the official one from McDonald's. And here, we've got the McFlurry that we made, the Copycat. And I just want to show you, I mean, mine even looks better. Mine looks more perfect. The McDonald's one is a little, it's been going through it. But I actually want to show you the texture of the ice cream. That's what's actually the most similar. It's not the look, even though the look, they're practically the same. This is McDonald's, this is mine. This is a little bit melted, obviously, but this is kind of the texture of the McDonald's one. It's a very... wow, great. It's like an in-between a milkshake and an ice cream. That's what McFlurry is known for. I really made a mess here. I don't know what I was thinking. It is pretty damn similar. Like, if I put them both side by side, keep in mind that it's very warm here, so everything is melting really quickly, so you gotta move quick. Let me get a spoon of each so you guys see the side by side. I mean, I would honestly not be able to tell the difference. So this is McDonald's, this is the one that we made. It's pretty damn great. I also made this look not very appetizing now, but you get the idea. For 3 ingredients, this is as close as it gets. Now, let's actually taste it. Both of them get really melted really quickly because it's so warm here because of my filming lights, but let's go for the McDonald's one. It's so good. It tastes like whipped cream frozen with some Oreo in it. Now this one, the one that we made, I want exactly the same, whipped cream frozen. You do have to eat it quick because it starts to go melty very, very quickly, but you might just reblend it if needed. The flavor. Sometimes I say that mine is better, not this time around. Mine is exactly the same as the McDonald's one. The texture might be the only thing, because if you let it sit, this one melts a little bit faster than the McDonald's one because it doesn't have the additives. But when it comes to the flavor of it, like, honestly, try it, come back to this video and comment. 3 ingredients that you probably have in your house. Please let people know in the comment section. Tell me it doesn't taste exactly the same. It will taste the same. Mine is a little bit darker because I use just a tiny little bit more Oreos than I should, but use less if you want it to be exactly the same color. Now watch this. It is essentially the same ice cream. They are the same. Exactly the same. Nothing but the same. Please try this. This is a 3-ingredient copycat recipe for the Wendy's Frosty, specifically the chocolate one. So the Wendy's chocolate Frosty is one of the most popular fast food items in America because it's not a milkshake, it's not ice cream, it's a Frosty. How about that? This one's a little bit melted. It's kind of like, that's the texture, like a little bit chunky, not very liquidy. This one is a little bit more towards liquidy, but you can kind of see what the texture is supposed to be like. This is a real one. I'm gonna put this back in the freezer and we're going to make this with 3 ingredients. We've tried something similar before, but this time around I've got the correct ingredients. So the ingredients that we're gonna need are chocolate milk, frozen Cool Whip, which is basically whipped cream, I think, and some condensed milk. So I'm gonna start by opening the condensed milk. I would never ask you guys to waste ingredients. If you follow a recipe on here, it's because it works. So we're gonna start with 2 cups of chocolate milk. And honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of chocolate milk, but I find that the more chocolatey it is, the more similar it will look visually. But the flavor, it will work either way. This is almost 2 cups, so we just need a little bit more for this to be 2 cups, which is really annoying, but trust, the leftover will be dealt with. So this is around, no, I'm being super precise. Okay, that's 2 cups of chocolate milk. Don't go and use non-frozen Cool Whip and then tell me that this doesn't work. Follow this to the T. So this is supposed to be 4 ounces of Cool Whip. By the way, this looks silly, but I'm just doing it in a bowl so you guys can see. This is obviously gonna go in the blender. I think this makes around 2 portions, or 1, if you're brave enough. So 4 ounces of the Cool Whip, and then 2 ounces of condensed milk, which is around that much, because obviously the chocolate milk is already sweetened. This is just to give it the flavor of the Wendy's one. This will be it. We are going to put this in the blender. This would also work in an ice cream maker. The Ninja Creamy would be amazing. So I'm gonna pour the mixture on the blender. Oh, this is gonna be difficult without spilling. 1, 2. That worked. So the mixture goes in the blender. Make sure you get every bit of the condensed milk, because it tends to stick in the bottom, I've noticed. I'm gonna have to put my hands on the condensed milk. Ugh. It had to be done. Just like a real Wendy's worker. That was fun. Now that we've got our mixture in here, the only thing left to do is to blend this. So we're gonna do that on any random setting. This honestly doesn't matter. When the texture is like smooth, you'll know. If you know, you know. Okay, so that was around 40 seconds. As you can see, the color is exactly the same. The chocolate milk seems to be the right way to do this. Oh, I was gonna show you what you kind of ended up with, but I spilled. Ideally now you'd put this on an ice cream maker, or if you have a Ninja Creamy, you put it in the freezer and then on the Ninja Creamy. I don't have any of those things. I mean, I had a Ninja Creamy, but it exploded last night conveniently. I'm just gonna pour the mixture into a Wendy's cup, and you see that the color is already correct. Now the texture, it's a little bit too liquidy. It's still silky, like smooth, but a little bit on the liquid side. So we got the color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in the freezer and just give it maybe 20 minutes, give it a mix, and then it might need another 20 minutes, keeping it real. Because we want this to thicken up a little bit, but not enough that it will be an ice cream. But it will also get a little bit darker. You'll see what it will look like in a second. Freeze it for 20 minutes, it should be sufficient. And then we're gonna see the side by side with the original. But honestly, it's giving. I don't know if it's the cup, but it is giving, and it is smooth. And you get enough for 2. You could even drink this as it is. That would be an amazing milkshake. I need you guys to know that I'm not playing around here. One of these is our Frosty, the other one is the Wendy's one. You can't even tell which one's which. It looks so similar. It's a slight change in color, and that's probably from the preservatives. This is insane. They feel the same. Okay, this is the Wendy's one. This is the one that I made. I only know that because the Wendy's one is kind of dirty, because I run a tight ship on my kitchen with my chefs. I'm double, triple checking every surface every 5 minutes. Thank you. This is the real Wendy's chocolate Frosty, and I just want to show you, it's very foamy up to here and then more liquid in the bottom. And this is the Copycat recipes that we've made, that we've followed. You can see it's foamy up to here, here and there's a little bit more on the liquid side because I haven't blended it yet. I think once I blend both, this is going to be very, very similar. Do you see how mine is a little bit frosty on top? That's kind of what I want, but now I'm going to mix it with a liquid to create this, more like a milkshake texture. So this is the one that I made, so I'm going to... Wait a minute. No, because you need to see this. Look at the texture that we've just created. We've created the Wendy's frosting texture in 20 minutes with 3 ingredients. That's the one we made. It is literally perfect. This is more like the Wendy's Frosty than Wendy's herself. Wendy's gonna come to my house armed with no good intentions. And this is the real Wendy's Frosty. It's quite similar, but this one is a little bit more melted. But you can see that before it was probably exactly the same. It's almost the same color even. I'm gonna mix it with the liquidy part now to kind of make it a little bit more even. And look at this. That is basically the same texture as the Wendy's one right now. This is mine. And this is Wendy. This is as legit as it gets. I mean, it will never get better than this. This is almost too good to be true. So I'm gonna put the lids on both of them and we're gonna try it. So let's start by trying Wendy's one. That texture. It's like foamy, but also creamy. It's incredible. This is the one that we've made. The Copycat one. Now, how is this possible that these recipes exist and Wendy's is still in business? Because this is 3 ingredients, 20 minutes. If you've got a freezer, why would you not make this? You can literally put it in the freezer and make a giant one. Make this times 10 because this is exactly the same as the Wendy's one, except it's 3 ingredients. It tastes like a complete replica. You saw the texture of it. I cannot fake the texture of it here. I'm getting heated over this. No one is accusing me of lying, but just the thought that some of you might not believe me really upsets me right now because this is so good. Wait a second. That can't be. Let me try this again. How is this possible? Save these recipes. I can't believe my videos are free. This tastes like Wendy's herself came back from the dead to make this. The perfect copycat recipe. Actually perfect. This is a Starbucks strawberry cream frappuccino. I just ordered a strawberry frappuccino. Frappuccino. Let me laugh for 5 minutes because that was the funniest thing I've ever said unintentionally. This is a Starbucks strawberry frappuccino and the interesting thing is it's got real strawberries in it. I think we got really, really close. The only thing is they have really powerful blenders for frappuccinos. My blender is not as powerful, but you will see it's very, very close to the texture of a frappuccino. By the way, this one's melted, so this is not a good example, but you get the idea. I'm gonna add everything directly on the blender because there's no other way to do this. You're gonna need a very strong blender for this because we're blending ice. You can also skip the ice and just use the other ingredients and then you can make it with any kind of blender. First thing I'm gonna need is 1 cup of milk. I cannot remember how many frappuccinos this makes because it's been a while since I've tested this. So 1 cup of milk. I'm using whole milk, but you can use oat milk or whatever you want. Then I'm doing half a cup of vanilla ice cream. So that should be around 75 grams. And if this is how you found out that a frappuccino is essentially ice cream, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to break your fitness journey. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, non-skippable. You can really taste it at Starbucks. And these are essentially strawberries in syrup, frozen, with sugar added to it. So this is basically all the sugar that's going to be added to the frappuccino. It comes from this. It is a weird ingredient, I'm not gonna lie. And we need about 1 cup of this. So that's around 1 cup of the frozen strawberries in syrup. I've tried using jam and it didn't work because the texture wasn't the frappuccino texture. Just do this. And the last ingredient, 1 cup of ice. If you don't have a powerful blender, just skip the ice and it'll still work. And this is essentially the base for a Starbucks Frappuccino. So you can kind of change the ingredients and make different flavors, but if you use this milk, ice cream, and the ice ratio, it will work. So we're gonna blend this now. So we're gonna put the lid. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this. This will make a whole lot of noise, and my neighbors are gonna be upset. But when you want a Frappuccino, it doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m., 4:45 a.m. The heart wants what it wants, and the heart wants a Frappuccino. So I'm gonna pick the ice crush option, I think. I don't know, it'll be fine. Whatever it is, it'll work out. Sometimes I press the green smoothie just because I I feel like maybe it'll be healthier. It'll be like, it will remove calories somehow. Watch. Okay, I think it should be ready. And as you can see, I mean, we will see the side by side, but I think the color is pretty similar. And I will say sometimes there are strawberries that kind of stick in the bottom like some chunks, but you will see the real one also has it. This smells like being a child again. It smells so good. This is legit. So here we got the Starbucks Frappuccino on this side. I just wanted you to see the color because you can't really tell the texture on camera. And this is the Frappuccino that we made. Do you hear how thick it is? All the tiny pieces of ice. I mean, it is very similar to the texture on top, like the foaminess. Mine seems a little bit lighter, but you will see as it sits here, it kind of will get a little bit darker. Just in literally 2 minutes, you'll see they will be practically the same color. Mine will also start to kind of get these chunks of strawberry. They will start to show up. You will see. So this is Starbucks, and this is the one that we've made. And I just want to show you, look at the texture of it. This is the Starbucks one. This one has been sitting in the fridge for a while, so it's very liquidy. So actually, this is not a great example. But mine, it will feel more like what you get when you actually go to Starbucks. Like when it's fresh. Do you see the thickness of it? I would say you will still get the occasional chunks, which I think is what makes this really similar. Now the flavor of it. Let me put the lids on this one. I asked for an extra cup at Starbucks and they gave me a tiny little one. Mine just looks cuter. So this is the Starbucks one. God damn, that is delicious. That's what childhood tastes like. Even though I'd never eaten one of these as a child because I was poor. And honestly, if I asked my parents for a $10 drink, I wouldn't be here to tell the story. The good news is this is a lot cheaper if you make it at home, just with ingredients from your freezer, then you will be here to tell the story. So this is the one we made. I mean, what can I tell you? This one is a little bit sweeter, but other than that, the strawberry flavor is perfect. You'll see that the colors, look, I told you they were gonna get closer together, and they are. This one always gets darker after a while. The oxidification of the strawberry. It's really similar. This one is very sweet, but I also find the Starbucks makes it different each time. Today specifically, this one is sweeter than this one, but when I tested this before, they were exactly the same, so follow this recipe, try it. If you like these Frappuccinos, you're gonna have a great time. Change the milk, do whatever you want with the recipe. It is yours now. You're welcome. I don't even know which one I want. I'm like remix. Oh, this is not gonna be a good idea. I've already ruined my t-shirt. There's bacon in this. Apparently Five Guys has this viral milkshake that has pieces of bacon blended into cream. This is like a very popular thing. This is all over TikTok. If you have an account, you might have seen it. So this recipe actually comes straight from TikTok. This is from someone who actually works at Five Guys. How to make the Five Guys bacon milkshake at home using real bacon. There's bacon in this. We will get there. We will try it. So I'm following the recipe from someone on TikTok. I have not tried this before. Let's see how it goes. So it's really important that the pieces of bacon that we're going to be using are very, very crispy. Apparently, if it's soggy, it's going to ruin the texture of the milkshake. So I don't know how this makes any sense, but I'm just following instructions. So as you can hear, this is very, very crunchy. Listen to this. This is almost too crispy. I didn't know too crispy was a thing. If the bacon doesn't do this, then it's not gonna be accurate to the Five Guys experience. So that is 2 pieces of bacon. This is the bacon that we're going to be using for our milkshake. I love America. Greatest country in the world. You can obviously customize the Five Guys milkshakes with whatever ingredients you want, but this specific one that we're making, it's bacon, peanut butter, and chocolate. But the base, this works for any kind that you want to make. So obviously, it's a milkshake, so we're going to start with 1 cup of milk. This is whole milk that we're using. So far, pretty standard for a milkshake, but you know, it's about to get not standard. It's about to get not the least standard. Then I'm gonna add 1 cup of ice cream. So it's basically equal parts ice cream, equal parts milk. And according to the Five Guys employees, they specifically use vanilla ice cream for this. So I'm using good quality vanilla ice cream. Measuring things in cups is honestly, I lose brain cells every single time and I still do it. So this is 1 cup of ice cream. Great. Oh, and in case you're wondering, this makes 1 serving. Okay, now for the peanut butter part, we're doing 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. 1 tablespoon and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. To this, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons as well of Hershey's chocolate syrup. I'm using the dark chocolate 1 and 2 tablespoons. We're gonna see if this looks any similar. I do have the official one from Five Guys here, so we should be able to compare the color. This actually looks delicious. I mean, it's chocolate, it's peanut butter, ice cream, milk. And then I remember that I live in America now. So we're gonna add the bacon to this. So we're gonna add 2 whole strips of bacon and make sure that it is crispy and crunchy, because that's the only thing that matters for Five Guys. Apparently they also have the appetite of Five Guys. I hope they have the vascular system of Five Guys too. So there you go. We added the bacon to it and we're gonna blend this. And this one needs to be blended very, very well, because otherwise this is not gonna give. Because there's pieces of pork in it. There's literally pork in my milkshake. Let's do it. So I'm gonna put the lid on. Let me make sure this is tight, because I do not want to be smelling like bacon. And we are going to blend this. Smoothie? I don't know. Is this a smoothie? Is this a frozen dessert? A soup? It's towards soup. I don't want to guess the blender's pronouns, but it's giving soup. Let's go with smoothie, I guess. Why do I see the bacon? I still see the bacon pieces. This can't be right. I'm gonna have to drink this. And worse than that, I'm gonna have to drink the one I made and I spent money, $15 on another one. It smells like bacon. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. It smells exactly what you think it smells like. Not appetizing. It is also a little bit more liquidy than I was thinking, but I guess it's still like a smoothie. Like, it's still thick, it still coats the glass. And the color, I'm gonna say the color is pretty good. There's actually not as many chunks as I thought. About the same as in the original, and it makes about the same amount as the one from Five Guys. Like, it's literally, they leaked basically the exact same measurements. Not this being the best copycat recipe of the day, like the colors are exactly the same. I think these people leaked the exact same recipe. Like, this is the same milkshake, same texture, same smell. Mine could be a little bit thicker, but that's it. I'm scared. Let's put the lid and let's try it. So this is the original from Five Guys, and this is the copycat recipe leaked by the employee. And honestly, they essentially told us the right measurements, because it's the same texture, it's the same color. It's interesting. Other than the flavor, I can really only go by the texture and the color, and they're both quite liquidy. It's summer, you know? Everything's liquidy in this video. This is the one that we made. Ours is a little bit more liquid, I think, but the color is the same. Maybe I should put mine in the freezer. Both surprisingly smooth, considering they've got bacon blended into it. Imagine going to Starbucks and being like, can I get the bacon frappuccino? Why does it sound kind of delicious? Let me start by tasting the Five Guys bacon milkshake. It's delicious. It tastes like a smoky Reese's. It tastes like someone set the Reese's factory on fire, and I love it. Oh, I'm not even getting bacon. I'm just getting the most amazing delicious. If you go to Five Guys, do these 3 ingredients on the milkshake. Bacon, peanut butter, chocolate. It will change your life. This is so good. And the actual milkshake, the actual base, is so creamy. This cow said, I'm gonna bring the milk, I'm gonna bring the bacon. Wait. Does bacon come from a cow? Why don't we make cow bacon? I don't know where bacon comes from. This is really good. Like, I get why this went viral. It's literally insane. Now, I don't know if I have the same faith on mine. Slightly different. Mine is a little more textured. It should have been blended one more time. That is exactly the same flavor. If I saw these 2 men walking down the street, I would say, that is the same man. They are twins. They are sisters. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a milkshake and it came straight from the source, but I would not be able to tell the difference. Mine maybe is a little bit more liquidy, but through the straw, you can't tell the difference. I think I like mine a little bit better. This one is a tiny little bit sweeter. Mine has a bite to it, but the bacon tastes delicious. Really, the trick is Crisp up the bacon before you put it on the milkshake. Imagine just clicking on this video now in this very moment. This would be so hard to explain. This milkshake is honestly a 10 out of 10, and the Copycat recipe is 100% accurate. It is what it is. Would not lie to you. First of all, let me get a sip of my bacon juice for good luck. Let me say something vulnerable yet brave. Thank you to those of you who've been supporting this series. I'm not joking. It's really hard on YouTube sometimes to carry on a series for a long time, and having people still continuously come and watch it. That's what you guys have done with the Copycat recipe series. It's been years and you guys support it, and that really means a lot to me because I'm used to, like, you know, if you hate something, we'll just stop making it, but you guys continuously support my Copycat series, and that's really nice. So thank you to those of you who gave the video a like, especially those of you who subscribe and switch the notifications on. You are literal bacon milkshake king angels. Not a single logic process in my head, just vibes. Thank you, that's what I'm trying to say. So if you want this to still carry on being a series, please let me know. It's literally those of you who let me know that you enjoy this, the reason why I make another episode. So thank you. This was one of the most successful episodes. I wanted to make a summer episode. I don't know if you got the theme, but this was me giving you recipes that work for your summer, so you don't have to go and waste money. I'm done with wasting money, and I'm sure you are too. Let's make things at home with great value ingredients. We're all in this together. Anyways, I hope you had fun. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you, and I will see you guys on my next video, which will be in 2 or 3 days. Bye bye.